first app I want to show you is Drumbeats Plus, and this app, especially when you connect it to a nice Bluetooth speaker, can almost feel as if you have your own private drummer jamming with you in your room. And that can sometimes be a very fun alternative instead of sometimes practicing with a metronome. And also you can do more things with it. For example, when a friend comes over and you want to put a drum beat and jam over that. So basically what you have in this app is dozens of different beats that were recorded by a real drummer. You can choose the different BPM that you want for each one of those. You got every genre that you can think of here, from country to hip hop to jazz to blues. And personally, this is an app that has been on my first homepage in my iPhone since probably around 2016, because I really like using it as a practice companion. Drumbeats Plus is the only app today which is only available for the iPhone, so if you are using an Android, an excellent alternative that does pretty much the same thing is an app called Loops. The next app is a free, super awesome and fun app that allows you to expand your vocabulary if you're into playing some lead guitar and improvising. So you probably have noticed that if you're not learning some more licks and more solos, you start sounding the same. So something that I find very helpful is once every few days, just take out this app and learn a lick or two that I find really inspiring and that I love the sound of them. And this app just makes it very easy to do so. So for example, you go into here and, for example, let's go into Texas Blues, and you pick one of the licks, and then it gives you the licks along with the tabs. Then it's going to play it more slowly as well. And something else that you can do is also move it into any other of the 12 keys. So always helpful to also learn it in more than one key and get it into the fingers from different directions. And this company also has similar apps in different styles. So this one is for the blues, there is one for country, for jazz, for metal, for a lot of different genres, so highly recommend it. The next app I want to show you is an outstanding chord dictionary and scale dictionary in one app. And what that means is I find it especially useful when writing songs and you want to get into some more adventurous chords, for example. So for example, you choose whichever chord it is that you want. Let's, for the sake of the example, C, and then you can choose any kind of C chord that you can even think of. So for example, let's do C6, and then it can show you all the places that you can play it over the neck. And you can find some very, very beautiful voicing this way. It can just inspire you to take them to the guitar, start playing them, and see where it takes you from there. Another thing that you have on this app is a scale dictionary. So for example, if you're learning your scales, so you can go into here and let's say, so this is the C major scale, and it will show you all the positions all over the neck. And you also have all kinds of other scales here, and just in the same way. So an excellent app for what it does, and I find that the free version gives me everything that I need. So this is Chord Bank. The next app that I want to show you is the app that finally has helped me after years of struggling with that to learn the notes on the fretboard and memorize them. And this is something that we want to do when we want to go into the next level on the guitar and really understand theory and go into playing solos and find the notes that we want to play relating to each chord, etc. What I have found is after trying various different methods, about 5 years ago when I have discovered Fret Trainer, basically for around 3 or 4 weeks, all I've done was to play the app for around 5 minutes every day. And after 1 month, it was pretty much there, because it just gives you some different ways and different games to attack and memorize those notes from different directions. And for me, that was what I needed. And from there on, I just refresh it every now and then, and it just put me at a completely different place when it comes to those notes. So the way that it works is that you go into the home page and then you can access different game types that you can do. So for example, the simple ones are name note and color match and find note, for example. So with name note, it's going to give you a certain note on the fretboard, and then just as fast as possible, you're going to want to press this note. And then basically it works like a game. So you're trying to beat yourself to it and improve your timings every time. And if you just go on every day and try to get 30 correct answers, as I've said, after a few weeks, you're going to be at a completely different place. The other game type which I like here is also a game type called color match, which basically shows you a certain point on the fretboard and it asks you, where is this note? For example, the B note, is it on green, blue, or red? So for example, here the B note is going to be on the blue. The next one is simply a metronome, so I will go over it quickly. There's not much to expand, but it's simply the best looking and best functioning metronome that I have found, and also with the best sound and the least annoying sound that I have found. It's called Soundbrenner, and basically it does everything that you want, including all the more fancy options that you can ask for a metronome. You got everything here. You can also choose some different sounds over in the app settings. So for example, shakers, tambourine, etc. So free app that does everything that you want it to do as a metronome. The next app is an excellent learning tool for those times when you're trying to learn a new guitar part or a new lick or a new solo and you want to slow it down. So I'm sure you probably have tried slowing it down on YouTube, for example, and then you can only slow it to 0.75 or 0.5 and it completely destroys the sound quality and it's just not fun. So this app, first of all, lets you slow down everything while maintaining the sound quality, and it can also use and add some different loops that you can set to it, and it can also change the pitch if you want to, for example, take it up, semitone, or etc. And the best thing that it does is that it can connect directly to your Spotify or to your Apple Music, and you can open up all of your playlists right here, and then, for example, you can just pick a favorite song of yours and learn it through this. So a very powerful learning tool. The next app is probably the one that I'm personally using the most these days, and this is an app called Songcraft. And for years I was looking for an app that would do what this one does, but none of them were quite as good, and I found this one in 2020, and since then I've been using it daily. Now what you have here in Songcraft is, in the main screen you have all of your songs, and what I like about it the most is that it syncs perfectly with the desktop app as well. So wherever you are, you can keep on working on your songs. And then, for example, let's say that you're going into one of your songs. So besides having your lyrics here, there are tools that actually just help you make your songwriting flow easier. For example, let's say that you have written down a line and you're struggling for which rhyme to come up with. So you can click it and then you have a rhyming dictionary for all the different rhymes that you can add. Or if you want to completely change the word, you have some related words that you can just place instead of that word. Another thing that I really like here is that, for example, if you click here, so you can have all of your different audio notes for that specific song in one place, instead of, for example, just having a mix of the recordings of a certain song in your voice memo app along with all of the other recordings that you have. If you're into songwriting, I think that this is by far the best app that does everything you need. The main disadvantage that I find in Songcraft is that it is not a native app. So in order to make it behave and appear just like an app right here, and what you can do instead is you simply go on your Safari or on your web browser in Android to the website, and then you click down here, and then what you're doing is add to home screen, and then it's going to make it behave like any other app. The next app as well is very simple, and I'm sure many of you know it, so just very quickly, my favorite tuner is Guitar Tuna. I just find that it's the most responsive and it's just the fastest working. The disadvantage that I find here is that it doesn't work when you have a capo on, so you can always just tune and then put the capo, but this is also one of the reasons that I still prefer using one of these buddies, a physical tuner that always works, and I find them a bit more reliable than using the phone. But as long as you're not outside in a noisy environment and you can use your phone, so in 95% of the times I find that Guitar Tuna gets the job done perfectly. Another app that I'm pretty sure you know, so I'm just going to very briefly mention it, is Ultimate Guitar. I'm pretty sure that even if you don't know the app, you have checked out and looked up some chords there. So simply what I want to say is that I think their app is doing its job incredibly. So if by any chance you are still using the browser to browse for their chords, I highly recommend doing it from the app because it's a lot more convenient. And you also have features like the auto scroll, for example, that makes things very easy. The two last apps that I want to mention, after literally trying out hundreds of different apps in those categories, are Perfect Ear and Ella. And these two apps will massively help you improve your ears. And if you are singing, they would also allow you not just to train your ears, but also to massively improve your singing accuracy while you're training your ears. And the first one that I want to show you is Perfect Ear. This is a very broad app that has a lot of different things and uses in it. For example, you have a lot of sight reading exercises and theory exercises and rhythm reading exercises. But personally, I found it the most useful for me for all those interval exercises. For example, if you're trying to train yourself to recognize the sound of a major third over a minor third and all the other kinds of things. So this lets you do that very specifically and while giving you also an accurate rating on your skills. So just for example, even starting with unison, you need to sing the exact same note. So bad, 31% above. Almost. But basically the idea is that you can use all of those exercises, and if you do that consistently, even 5 minutes a day, you're just going to see how you're improving, how your scores get better, and it's very motivating when it comes in the form of a game. Now this leads me to even my favorite, and this is an app that for around a year I was using almost daily, which is Ella right here. Basically it works in a very similar way, but what it does is I just feel that everything, the user interface, everything is a lot more fun and attractive, so you just want to come back into it. So for example, let's say that we're picking one of those. So what I like about it is that it shows you the exact graph of where you were all throughout that note. And this is just going to allow you to develop your accuracy in a much more correct way, I believe, instead of just giving you one rating at the end. So if you choose one of them, I think Ella is the best. Both of them are free, by the way, but these are my favorite apps for developing your ears and singing accuracy. Anyways, I hope this has been helpful, and please let us know what are your favorite apps. What are apps that you have actually been using and you are a big fan of and helped you on your journey? And if you have discovered a new app through this, please let us know what is your new favorite. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.